30 miles. So we got 10 miles to our top of descent. And what else do we have here? 10 miles to top of descent. And now that I'm on my way inbound to Delta, I'm going to set the nav2 for outbound from Delta. So outbound from Delta, let's come over here. We're inbound to Delta. Outbound from Delta is a 358, so we're going to put that on the nav2. 358, that's probably what I thought, 358 earlier. Okay, got that. Only 6 miles, 5 miles, we're going to be really careful with that. And then, the next frequency after that really is going to be Fairfield on 116.6. So I'm going to see if I can squeeze that in real quick. 116.6 in standbys. Again, this is much better if you're flying with another pilot as far as helping you. But when you do it yourself successfully, it feels pretty good. Okay, 22 miles to go. Let's put this, now watch this. I can actually put it on indicator speed right now because I haven't changed my power setting. And then here we go, pulling the power back. Okay. Now the airplane's going to start slowing down, and as a result, because we have indicated airspeed on here, we should see our speed slowing down, and our we should start descending. And that's not happening. Interesting, huh? Now, do I have a malfunctioning autopilot? I don't know. So that's okay. Let's just do it this way. Let's get rid of the elevator. Let's pitch the airplane down. Okay, we'll trim it out ourselves. Oops. Okay. Once I get it stabilized, I am going to actually, just out of curiosity, see if we have some sort of a malfunction that... I've had this happen once before. For all I know, I made a mistake. Could be user error. Okay, so 2,000 feet per minute. And we're in the descent. Let me just trim this out a little bit. Okay. So we are on our way down. Interesting, huh? Hey, let's see if we can still pull this off. In the meantime, I am curious about what is the deal. Maybe we'll look after. We'll see what either mistake I made or if I was successful in getting us through an equipment malfunction. But normally, the airplane would have started descending. You can take my word for it. Okay, the speed is slowly building up. I'm going to just sort of try to keep trimming it for our 2,000 foot per minute descent. And at the same time, I'm still letting the autopilot... Am I still... Yeah, oh, I could let the aileron take over there while I am, you know, basically keeping the aircraft on the proper descent profile. Okay. Okay, so 4 miles to go to the VOR, which is really just going to flip over any second. At our present altitude, I'm going to give it a little bit of power and descend since we are not descending very fast. I'm just a little distracted now because of what happened. Okay. And our next course is 358 degrees. So we'll do 358. There we go. Okay. So our next point of interest as we descend is going to be... Let me just double check this. Yeah, we have it on for VOR. Look, it should intercept that. Okay. So... Whoa, that's pretty fast. See what happened? We banked the wings and we picked up some increase in vertical speed in the descent. That's okay. Let's just keep this thing. Oh, I know what's happening. Every time I use the trim for pitch, it disengages the autopilot. I totally forgot about that. Alright. So, that's okay. I got some challenge. I got a hand fly this thing. Alright, so this will be interesting. Let's just go nice and easy. Make sure our igniters are on low. Okay, good. Alright, keep that 2,000 foot per minute descent going. There we go. Okay. And let's see, am I still... Yeah, no, we're not doing anything with it. Okay. Cool. So we're outbound. We're heading outbound on the 358 radial out of Delta, holding about 2,000 feet per minute. Normally we'd be doing this at about 300 knots, but because I'm kind of behind, I'm not going to go crazy chasing it. I'm actually going to take advantage of the extra time with the slower ground speed to give myself some more time to just deal. Okay. Let's see, what else can I do? Here is, so the next thing we're interested in, I'm just trying to like re-intercept that localizer, not localizer, the whatchamacallit, the radio. Okay, cool. And I do have the correct one tuned in, right? 116.1. Okay. Alright, so while that's happening, I am going to put in the nav2 Fairfield, which is 116.6. Okay. Come back up here, make sure we're okay. See, this is what happens when you hand fly and switch your views. You got to keep that descent rate going. Alright, here we go. And let's see, what else do we have? Let me just sort of trim that out a little bit better. Kind of catching up to the desired speed originally of 300 knots. At 18,000 feet, we'll go to local, and I just didn't use any real weather, so it's going to be altimeter 2942. We're 20 miles out, and we're interested in being at 11,000 by 46 miles DME. At the same time, I'm sort of going to start looking at what sort of a direct course would take us to Fairfield. At that point, it's about 013, and we'll keep adjusting that. Jam and intersection, once again, as I said before, is 46 miles out from Delta. Okay, we got our 2,000 feet per minute back. Okay. Approaching flight level 180 pretty soon. Alright. Those mountains are really cool out there, especially when you get a little lower. We're a little bit fast. Let me just get that attitude indicator up a little bit. Okay, so we're holding the radial pretty well. We got 16 miles to go and just over 7,000 feet to lose. And given our speed, I'm going to put in a little bit. You always tempted like not to use spoilers and just nail it, but let me see. Let's see if I can just salvage just a little bit more. Okay, 29er, 42. That's actually going to bring it down even lower. Let's see. There we go. Or 2943. Okay. Get back on course. And we have 10 miles to go, 5,000 feet, 2,000 feet per minute. Okay, if I have to keep descending as I cross and head toward Fairfield, I can. Alright. Let's go have a look over here. So once again, direct course at this point would be about 022. Now I can actually just leave this like this because I can see the attitude indicators. I can still fly the airplane like that. Alright. Pitch up maybe 2 degrees. Let's see, we have 7 miles to go. We're down at 14,000 feet. We're doing okay. Not that far behind, I don't think. Okay, what I'm going to do, actually, let's see if I can put... nothing. Okay. This is going to get interesting, especially without flight director and autopilot. That's good. Okay. Let's see. 42 miles. So, oh, let's have one more look. So, somewhere around 027. I'm going to guess about 030 is going to take us there once we hit 46 miles. Maybe 031 or so. A little fast. And this is one slippery airplane. Okay, here comes 046. Gonna turn to a course of about 032. So let's just do 032 and keep the descent going. Sorry, buddy. I'm not gonna let you out to chase cats at this time of night. Shallow at that descent a little bit. Okay, 032. Wings level. Start to level the airplane off a bit. I have my I have the head shake plug-in, and you can see how it's actually a little bit touchy right now. But the airplane's very pitch sensitive at this speed too, so okay. I'm trying to retrim this airplane as I'm flying along here. Cool. Okay, so let's have a look. We basically have let's see. So 036. So let's just turn a little bit more, 036-ish. A little bit high. Okay, we're slowing down though, that's good. And we're going to put 043 on the outbound course. 343 rather. That was out of Fairfield, right? Once we cross Fairfield. A little low. Let's get back up. Okay, and at the same time, let's make Fairfield active in this VR. Cool. Okay. Alright, so let's get some trimming. Zero 036 back. Get back to 11,000. Sorry guys, I'm being a little sloppy here now. Okay. And we have 8 miles to go. 343 degrees. Let's just double check that. Let me just trim this out so I can let go of the controls for a moment. Okay, cool. So now we are basically heading toward Fairfield, outbound 346, and the localizer is 343. Okay, cool. So let's do that. So 346. I'm going to put 343 here. I'm going to keep that in there. And it was 109.5, I believe. So let's put that in. 109.5. Okay, and then we're there, and nav 2 should be 346. It's a big no big deal if it was a 2-person crew here, but we're doing okay. Okay, so at that point, let's see, we got 3 miles to go. I'm going to fly the nav 2 on the 346, and I'm going to activate that localizer on the nav 1. Okay, cool. Alright, so 1 mile to go. I'm going to start to turn to 346 right now because we're going to overshoot that. So just keep an eye on that nav 2 over there. Should start to come alive. Let me shallow that out a little bit. Comes 11,000. 0 miles. I'm going to keep that just... Oh, there it is. Look at how fast it's coming in. Okay. You know why? Because, watch this. Even though we were at 11,000, look how close we are to the mountain, which is like where that VOR is. That'll explain it. Alright, let's just roll this out on 346 degrees about. It's 356. What are we doing on altitude? Pretty good. Okay. Let me pull the speed back. Pull the power. And now we've got to start slowing this thing down. Okay, so how are we doing? We are intercepting the 346 radial. We weren't too far off. So we'll go about 340. Okay, there it is. Go back to about 346. I already got a DME on my nav1, but no glide slope or localizer yet. I do have 109.5. Let's make sure that 109.5 was in fact the frequency. Yes, it is. Okay. Oh, and we're getting a nice and slow, which is what I want. So I'm going to keep trimming. At 210 knots, I'm going to start putting out some flaps. I wanted to go over the flap extension schedule, but let's put this... Oh, you got to put the V card, landing tab, VREF is 131 for flaps 30. We're going to use that, so VREF plus 5 is 136. That'll be the approach speed. Okay, here comes the localizer. I'm not going to just chase it just yet. I'm going to go back to 343 at least. But, and we're going to step down to now 10,000 feet. So if you printed this chart out, whoops, I was like pulling the page and I just pulled back on the yoke. Okay. Okay, flaps coming in. I should have done that at 210. Okay, but anyway, so we're getting down to 10,000 feet. Ideally, you want to be at 10,000 feet according to the procedure by 17.8. And we're just about there. Okay, so that localizer is probably pretty accurate by this point. Okay, we're going to keep slowing it down. Okay, so the localizer is active. And I'm just trying to slow it down a little bit here. And let's just trim it out a little bit better. Let's get that, yeah, because okay, glide slope is now active. It's almost intercepted. You see how that, now we're basically on it. So what I'm going to do is, let's do flaps 2. Hopefully that'll help us slow down a bit since we're on the glide path. Okay, speed's coming down. And we're going to do, at 190, we'll do flaps 5. It's slow to slow down. Let me rewind time a little bit. Because we're in a descent and we're clean. So I'm going to just get that localizer back in. We're just above the glide slope. Let's go flaps 5. That's going to give us enough drag to start slowing this down. Okay, let's get back on that localizer. A little bit above the glide path. Let's just increase the descent rate. Flaps. We'll do flaps 10. We're a little bit premature. Normally we do that at like 170, but I want some drag. Okay. And got the runway inside out there. Come on, 170. Okay, I'm gonna do gear down. Flaps 15. This isn't really working out ideally, but hey, at least we're recovering. Despite the fact that our autopilot got weirded out. I thought I got rid of my failure options, but oh well. And flaps 25. I'm going to arm the speed spoilers so that they activate on touchdown. Flaps 30. We said what? What did we say before? We said 135 is the approach. Ref plus 5. Okay, and auto brake is on medium. Okay. See what happens. I think I would have normally done all that. Stabilized it. Okay. We're doing okay though. Not ideal, but not too bad. I really wanted to demonstrate how the systems work properly. So, I mean, it's fun when this is happening, but not like when it's, this wasn't really supposed to be an instructional video on how to deal with a failed autopilot, but hey. Okay, I'm just sort of recapturing the glide slope because we got a little bit low. So I had to add some power. So at the speed of a 135, approach speed is usually about 700 to 800 feet per minute. Holds the glide slope pretty well. This is actually an interesting point in the approach right now. If you look, we're lined up with runway 34 right, which is actually straight ahead. 34 left is all the way to the left side over here. Okay, but if we had come out in the clouds, out of the clouds, I should say, at this point, we would have sort of been looking, especially with any kind of crosswind correction. It looks like we would be like, hey, which runway should we go to? And you might say, oh, 34 right is off over here. And you can see how that would like pull you off course, and that would be a mistake. So anyway, it is interesting. You know, like kind of know your runway layout as you brief everything. All right, but I think we've covered okay. All right, how are we doing here? Yep. On glide path. Adjust my trim a little more. I had it like sometimes I like to keep if my trim's gonna be like if my airplane's gonna be out of trim, I kind of like it to be nose heavy because then I can like sort of just keep a pull on it as opposed to pushing. I don't know why that is. I mean, I try to trim it so that you have neither, but a little bit fast. I think we're set. I was totally distracted. Okay, so speed brakes are armed. See, this is where I screwed up. We didn't put our landing lights on. See, that's the kind of thing that annoys me. Let me turn off. Strobe wing, all that good stuff. Okay, there we go. Still on glide path. I should have just left it, but whatever. Like, that would have all been done earlier. Okay. And also by the, first officer or non-flying pilot, I should say, depending on who had the leg. About 500 AGL.
500. Minimums.
Okay, pull that power back.
50, 30, 20, 10.
Get on that center line. Okay, thrust reversers are engaged. Auto brakes are active. Let's get this thing down to 60. Back on the center line a little bit. And we want to basically we'll take the high speed turn off the back. Alright. Well, I think we kind of recovered, given that, what had happened. So I think we're doing all right. I'm not complaining too much. Let's get this past the, whoops, I thought I disengaged those thrust reversers. Maybe I hit it twice. Okay. So let's get past the hold line here. Okay, cool. Good deal. So, landing successful. Let's check out now. If we go into our procedures manual here. Let's see what page we're going to be on. Okay, so basically we are on extension schedule, landing procedure. Excuse me, go around, landing roll procedure, which is on page 48. Kind of runs through some of the stuff that I did after landing procedure. So, move this, so we want to basically make sure that our speed brake lever is down, okay. Weather radar would be off. I don't know, I never turned it on, but maybe it was already on, I'm not sure. Where's that damn off button? Okay. So, let's see, there we go. Okay, weather radar is off. Then we have pitot-static heat switches. So first officer, APU is needed. Okay, so we're going to turn the APU on. That's what they do at Southwest Airlines. Oh, we got to hold that switch in. And then once again, wait for it to move. That needle, and now it's moving. Takes about 3 seconds. Cool. Pitot-static heat switches are off. So let's make sure that these are in the off position. Oops. Well, that's going to be also off, but pitot-static heat switches are off. What else do we have? Flight ground switch to ground. That's in the pressurization system. So if we go over to pressurization, the flight and the ground position, we're going to put it to ground. That's going to let the outflow valves open up, and the cabin to depressurize. Otherwise, they won't be able to open a door, depending on if they're plug doors. Let's see, what do we have? Set the exterior lights as needed. Okay, so we can get rid of the landing lights, but we're going to keep the. We don't have to deal with any more crossing runways at this point, so we're going to cut off the runway off lights. We'll kill the strobes, kill the wing illumination light. We'll just leave on the taxi light and the position light, and that's it. Okay, what else do we have? And then engine start switches to off. Now that's not going to shut the engines off, so don't worry. It's just that it's getting rid of the igniters to continuously run. We're getting rid of that. The engine will still keep running. And the reason, well, I explained it in the first video, why you have to keep on during flight. So, let's see, what else do we have? Flap lever up. So this would obviously have gone like a real smooth flow. I'm just kind of doing it by the checklist. So pull the flap lever up. All right. Verify that down by looking over here. Okay, so you can see flap lever is at 0. Right. Yep. What else do we have? Set transponder mode selector as needed. So basically what that would mean is like you would take your transponder, where are we? And if it was if the transponder was on altitude or whatever it may be, you would just deactivate that. Okay, so what else do we have? Where are we now? Okay, and then shutdown procedure. So we're not there yet. So let's get over to a gate. Okay. Let me just rewind time a little bit so that we can see like where we're going. So if you were to look over at, now this airport isn't like fully done up, but not fully done up in that I don't think we have any taxiway signs to sort of tell us where we are. Like there's no markings on the runways, even though they have buildings in here now. I don't remember seeing, anything over there. So, but we'll make the turn. Either way, we're going to end up on, we're going to basically be making a left onto what is this? Hotel, probably hotel. If these are hotels all the way down, then that's hotel. Okay, and there should be, yeah, here it is. So solo H right there, hotel. Okay, so I think we came off of probably hotel 8 or hotel 9. Right. Okay, good deal. So let's continue. So we're hotel 9 and hotel, and we're going to make a left on hotel. What's our master caution switch telling us? Anti-ice was shut off. Yes, that's fine. Okay. Good deal. Auto brake was supposed to be off. Thought I shut that off already. I think we're good there. Okay, let's do this. So I was on page 49, and now we're on page 50, but we're going to get to a gate first. Alright. So, anyway, I hope that you found the hand flying during the descent exciting. It was for me. I should practice that more often. I mean, I've done it in the past, but I've been to, using more of the flight director and autopilot. I always land hand flying it, but, it just definitely came up sooner than expected. And then you're kind of like wrapping your head around, like, hey, what happened? That's a perfect example of what happens, to real pilots, like when you get caught up in one thing, when you're not like, basically fly the airplane. And instead I'm sitting there thinking, what happened? Let's try and fix this. So that would have been a lot easier to fix if, if we had a 2-person crew.